That's right! Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And pie on my cake.
And welcome to Project 7 of So You Want to Be an Imagineer, Season 16. Purists versus Innovators. It is New Frontiers. Now, New Frontiers, of course, as with all projects in Purists versus Innovators this season, it's split down the middle. For the Purist side of things, they were able to create a new land that didn't necessarily have to rely on new technology or anything like that, but basically be like a replacement for, the hypothetical what if that was Disneyland's Discovery Bay. This didn't necessarily have to go into Disneyland. It could go for either Disneyland or Walt Disney World, but kind of the influence is sort of like a transitioning point between Frontierland and Fantasyland, as Discovery Bay would have been. And for the innovator side of things, they were asked to design a particular ride and be more innovative with it. So basically come up with a cool ride system or a fun mechanic or something along those lines. Now, Pi, you are, of course, my go-to person. Jacob is out with the flu. I wish Jacob well, and I very much hate to see him in that position. I hope he gets better soon. But Pi, I went to you first because, of course, you hold the distinct honor, my friend, of being the one person to complete every project this season.
Really? I'm the only one?
Yeah, because Ace Astro did not turn in a project this last time.
That's right, yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for having me. I'm honored to be on the podcast.
Now, of course, Pi, you know this means you don't get to just judge others and turn in your numerical scores and affect the actual standings.
Really? Because I gave myself an 11 out of 10 and everyone else zeros.
Well, really, your big competition would be Space, so my goal would be to be like, all right, Space, I'm going to give you a 2 out of 10, but I'm going to give you valid reasons why.
Reason 1, there's numbers in your name.
God. Okay, so, of course, folks, we're going to start with the 2 Purist projects, then move on to the 3 Innovators projects. Very good selection this round. Kind of a nice condensed grouping of projects. Not too many, not an overwhelming amount. All of them had their fair share of things going for them, including yours, Pi. So, before you get, Pi, yours is kind of smack down in the middle.
Yeah.
So, before we get to yours, let's get into D. Hindley. D. Hindley had Mysteryland, which had the Hollow Earth Expeditions, the Lost Mystery Trails, the Fearsome Critter Snapshot Safari, the Warehouse of the Weird, the Explorers Club, the Squirt and Squonk, the Snake Oil Wagon, the Flapjack Snack Shack, Sasquatch Canteen, and the Explorers Club. Wow. So, Pi, this very much reminds me of like, hey, Gravity Falls? Well, let's pretend that wasn't a cartoon and just, reimagine Gravity Falls in its own image in kind of like a more realistic, mature, kind of Tony Baxter-esque way.
I had that exact same thought. That's literally the top thing I wrote down for my notes. It's like if Gravity Falls wasn't a cartoon. For me, at least, it's definitely a compliment because I love Gravity Falls. I love the concept of that with the Pacific.
And I think Gravity Falls would be a perfect way to kind of blend in from Fantasyland into Frontierland and vice versa. Kind of that mix of like the, the Pacific Northwest mixed with kind of like the, ooh, what's going on? The mysterious flavor that Gravity Falls gives off.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice, smooth transition as you go up the West Coast and into there and then into the fantasy. It's great.
Mm-hmm. And so, this does have all that intact without the burden of, people saying like, hey, well, wait a minute, Gravity Falls isn't on air anymore. How many people are going to care about Gravity Falls?
Yeah. It's a smaller fan base there, but it's not on the air anymore. It's not going to get a whole land like this.
I wish it would, Pi. I wish it would.
Oh yeah. I've been wanting personally the little Chester's and Hester's Dinorama in Animal Kingdom, since it's already kind of themed to a roadside kind of tacky-ish attraction. Just kind of do a re-theme of that, like Grunkle Stan was the one that set that up.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
But of course, that's just own personal project, not something I expect them to do.
Okay, so there's a lot of moving pieces here in this land. It kind of reminds me of like an old school Disneyland where there's something for everyone. You know, we have the photo safari, which is very much kind of like a light D-ticket dark ride with a nice interactive element to it. Of course, Hollow Earth Expeditions. I like that Hollow Earth Expeditions. I noted this in my review where it would be like it's kind of like an in-between point between something like Gadget's Go Coaster and Big Thunder Mountain. So in that way, it would almost be like Disneyland's equivalent to the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in terms of intensity scale.
Oh yeah, which is a great level. It's a lot of fun. And this would be a great ride.
Of course, a lot of big set pieces, a lot of sense of adventure to it. I think one of the things that really make this land come to life for me is all the restaurants included and the dining and the shopping and everything. It's not just the rides. The rides complement it very well, but really it's just all the thought put into every nook and cranny of this that really make it pop.
Oh yeah, and just look at this map, which first off, just take a second to say this map is beautiful and so well drawn.
It really is. It really is crazy. It looks just like a theme park map.
Oh yeah. But he even has like restrooms and things like that on here.
And of course, outside of that, he uses some great reference photos as well throughout the presentation.
Oh yeah, I don't know. They can think it's a great Imagineering all around, but probably one of the best uses of visuals we've had this season throughout all his projects.
Yeah, I agree. Between his original stuff and his reference photos, he always knows how to make something visually just stand out.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like honestly, my only like problems with this land is like some little nitpicky stuff, like all the restaurants are right in a row on the right side of it. It would have been nice to maybe spread out one or two of them. Or
kind of how I see it in like for example, when I experienced Springfield in at Universal Hollywood, I'm not sure if it's any different in Florida, but Springfield and Hollywood is basically just like, okay, you have Krusty Burger and Moe's on one side, and then you have Luigi's and Duff Gardens on the other side.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
All right. So, Pi.
Yeah, it's not like a problem. Like I said, it's nitpicky stuff.
Yeah. So, Pi, I bet you wish you could score this project, right?
What?
I said, I bet you wish you could score this project.
This is, if I was scoring projects, this is probably the one I would score the highest this round.
All right.
Other than myself, because I'm cheating.
Of course.
If I wasn't cheating, this is probably the one I would score the highest.
So speaking to that, let's get to it. For D. Hindley, I gave him with creativity a 9 out of 10. For realism, an 8.5 out of 10, mostly just because there might be a little too much to cram into that area. But then again, Galaxy's Edge is going to be a lot as well. But to that extent, I feel like there's more planned for this than there would be for Galaxy's Edge. So we'll see how that goes. Detail, 8.5 out of 10. Presentation, 8 out of 10. And really, I probably should have given him higher on presentation, considering just how good that map looks and everything. So I don't know, but as Jacob and I have learned throughout the season, you know, we just kind of stick with our initial gut reaction scores. So there you go. In total, D. Hindley gets a 34 out of 40. And with that, Pi, that takes us to our leaderboard. Let's mark this down. And of course, you have the ability to get at least 5 points this round. It goes from 1 to 5 points. So Pi, that's in the running.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna close my window because you guys might be hearing bird sounds, which is not good for production quality on a podcast.
You should get one of the birds to be a guest star. Like, just mic him up and be like, "Hi, I'm Tiki. This is Pie, and this is So Squawks a Lot."
Oh God. Hey, yo, Daddy-o, it's Hipster Donald here, and I'm the only guest star that ever comes around. Don't like characters, Pie? Pie? Don't you like characters?
I have absolutely no idea what that is referencing, but I'm laughing my ass off at it.
Oh, my king, what's your favorite Disney character?
I'm afraid to answer. Stitch.
No, your favorite Disney character is me, Hipster Donald.
That's what I meant.
Now, don't you want to just give Hipster Donald a great big hug?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I'm done.
That's the voice they should use for Donald in the Monsters Inc. level of Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, God. Oh. All right, I'll have to message Man-Eating Wreath and Monkey and tell them that Hipster Donald was revived for a couple minutes. We had a rare Hipster Donald sighting. God.
Hey, maybe we could add that as one of the monsters alongside the trails in Mysteryland.
Could be.
Which, speaking of the cameos there, I like the volcano bat reference there. I know that's been a running gag on the boards for a bit now.
Right. All right, so this one should go by Fast Pie. It's a very simple, very cut and dry project by Space Mountain. Basically like, hey, Cars Land, you know it, you love it, let's send it over to Magic Kingdom. And Pie, I've got to admit, I'm impressed by how well this works. I think the best part about it is the transition from the mining town of Tumbleweed, and then you walk under the railroad tracks, and then you're in Ornament Valley. To me, that works a little bit better than how the front entrance of Cars Land works in California Adventure, where it's just like, okay, and you're on the Grizzly Peak, and then bam, there's Main Street of Radiator Springs.
That's something I can't speak too much to because I haven't actually been to California Adventure since it's opened. But this would be fantastic here, and the rock walk would blend seamlessly in with the Frontierland and Thunder Mountain aesthetics. It'd be great to see here.
Yeah, I think that space changes just enough about the layout, and of course the flat rides having canopies under them is, a natural pick. Just all in all, this project, it can't get much points for originality or detail or anything like that, but I just think it's a solid fit, and I give Space props for turning in something when he was kind of, when he self-admits that he was sort of burned out by Frontierland. So Space, in general, this is probably, definitely your shortest project of the season, but I still liked it quite a bit. Now, Pot, when you go to visit Cars Land in California Adventure, you have to take the back entrance into Cars Land, and that would be by going through Pacific Wharf. And that will get you through this kind of stone archway, this rockwork archway that'll kind of take you out onto like this highway road overlooking the Radiator Springs Racers racetrack.
Sounds good to me. That sounds really nice.
That's a much more effective way to enter Cars Land than the Main Street way, I think.
Is that the West Coast version of you should enter Epcot for your first time by monorail?
No, I would say that would be entering Disneyland for your first time by monorail. Because there's not really much of a choice. You either go through Disneyland to the front gate or, through Downtown Disney. And hey, if you go through Downtown Disney, then you get the monorail experience. You see Tomorrowland and Small World, and you go around the Matterhorn.
Oh, that sounds cool.
That's actually the coolest part of taking the monorail into Disneyland is you do a full loop around the Matterhorn right before you go into the station.
Nice.
Yeah.
When I was in Disney, I've only been to Disneyland once, and when I was there, the monorail happened to be down for refurbishment, so I never actually got to ride it.
Yeah, when you're walking around the Matterhorn, it's very famous for, always having the monorail horns going off. It's a very monorail-centric area.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Cool. But yeah, back on this, I like it. Personally, I'm never huge on the idea of one property or like one IP based lands in a castle park, but it's something Disney has been doing, so I can't say it's unrealistic, and Radio Springs would be a good one.
Right. So in terms of creativity, I give him a 7.5 out of 10 because there were some flourishes that made it stand out a little. Realism, I gave him a 9 out of 10 because it's a copy and paste, but it's a damn effective copy and paste. Detail, a solid 7 out of 10. There could have been more, but he could have skimped out less, so can't complain. And presentation, he provided a really good map, so I went 7.5 out of 10 with that. Bumping Spaces score up to 31 out of 40, and let's go ahead and put that on the leaderboard.
Yeah. But yeah, the map is something I wanted to mention. Space's maps might not be quite as flashy as D. Hindley's, but he's one of the most solid at making maps that perfectly get across whatever point he's trying to get across.
It is very, I like how much detail there is to it. There's a lot of moving parts to it, but you can follow it really well. It's accessible visually. Yeah.
Some of the most clear maps of like anyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Pi, so let's move on to this jackass.
Easily the worst project I've ever seen.
I mean, come on. Could this guy just... I can't believe this guy just watched the Defunctland video on Tomb Raider the Ride, and he was like, oh, I'm going to do that with Toy Story.
Oh yeah, it's like he set off all ambitious to try and do like an e-ticket dark ride, couldn't think of anything that actually worked together, and then watched the video and was like, I'm just gonna do that. So lazy.
I mean, really, this is just it kind of makes me sick to my stomach a little bit thinking that this game harbors this poor amount of creativity, Pi.
I know, we should just cancel Disney parks entirely after this.
Yes. You know what? Like, I'm 5 days away from experiencing Disney World for the first time, but Pi, this project has just turned me off from the idea of it in general. I just rather see Disney World shut down. All right. This is going way too far.
Yeah, you're gonna go to SeaWorld instead.
Oh no. Oh God, no. All right, now it's a horror story, Pi. No, I'm at SeaWorld for a whole week.
I can't even imagine what you do there for a whole week.
Oh, God.
You can get like 2 days tops out of that park.
I just like ride the coasters over and over again.
Yeah.
Pi, now I'm just like, now that idea is in my head, I'm just like paranoid that somehow my trip is going to go so wrong that ends up being what happens.
Well, no, I tease SeaWorld. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it is. Compared to Disney World, it is totally
Disney,
bad.
Don't worry.
I would rather do Busch Gardens.
Oh, I like Busch Gardens.
It's
not great theming. That was only like an hour from where I grew up, so I got to go there a lot.
All right, Pi, but by all intents and purposes, this jackass is you, and Pi, this was my highest scoring project. Of course, I do give you some props for taking an homage from the great Kevin Perjurer and his Defunctland series. Everyone needs to go and check him out and just like totally binge the entire Defunctland series. I'm not even kidding. Watch every single video in order. Just eat it up. Just know it, love it. Just savor it.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's so good.
If you're only gonna watch one, watch Action Park.
Action Park's good. Yes, my personal favorite is Son of Beast.
That one is pretty great.
All right, but so yeah, Pi. I mean, I don't have a ton to say about yours. It's very much Toy Story's equivalent to Tomb Raider: The Ride. What I do like is how you kind of tamed it down for a kid audience, but still made it accessible enough and thrilling enough for the thrill seekers to actually care about.
Thanks. I was trying to go for about Thunder Mountain thrill level, where it's still most of the family, if not all the family.
And I think you succeeded there. And I think in terms of being an innovator project, this is very much in line with what I'm looking for. It's taking a technology that at the very least is underutilized. You know, something that, as we saw with Tomb Raider, is very easily compact and can offer some really serious punched up thrills. And I definitely think you did something really good with it.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah. I'm happy with how it turned out. I'll admit it was a little self-indulgent, just using different things I like, but I think it turned out nicely.
I think it worked really well. I think it was a good blend of different ideas. So creativity, I gave you an 8 out of 10, just because, you know, like you said, it was a mix of different inspirations. Realism, though, 9 out of 10, because I think easily it could be pulled off. And actually, down the line, detail 9 out of 10, presentation 9 out of 10. Down the line, you did a solid, fantastic work job.
Thanks.
Really good, really good. So that brings your score up to 35 out of 40, which means you are currently in the lead.
Cool.
And of course, folks, my scores have been up for about an hour, so you know you could probably do the math on who's in the lead by your own, but screw it.
Yeah. That's all that guy deserves, really.
God. Okay, so Wild Wagon Express by Disney Dad. This was a very unique project, Pi. This was like Indiana Jones Adventure mixed with the Lone Ranger, mixed with Big Thunder Mountain, a little bit of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge thrown there for good measure with the cast member interactions. Like, man, Disney Dad was definitely very very ambitious when it came to the innovation side of things with the Innovators prompt.
Oh yeah, it was very innovative, but for the most part, at least, never felt like it strayed too far from realism too.
Of course, we're gonna have to see how Galaxy's Edge actually plays out, because that is the one part that worried me, was just how much of a level of interaction was there in the queue. I feel like the queue was almost kind of pushing it, because when the project first started, I was a little bit confused. Like, wait a minute, is this a full land? Is this like a giant e-ticket experience? And yeah, it is more in line with a giant e-ticket experience. I know, but the scale of it is really impressive, as is the idea of blending the Indiana Jones of it all into it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like you said, with the queue between the couple different things with the cast members and a couple different animatronics that were at play just at the queue, maybe a bit outside the scale of what's realistically possible, but also there's been times where cast members have been there to interact with pre-shows before, like in Rock and Roller Coaster. Cast members don't always do it, but they're supposed to yell out how about some backstage passes in time with the Aerosmith video.
Wait, hold on. You have to explain that to me.
Oh, that's right. You don't have Rock and Roller Coaster. So the pre-show for that is like you're in the soundstage and you have a video, but it's supposed to be like Aerosmith behind the window, mixing up the song. But the agent tells them, "Hey, we have to cut this tour short because we gotta go to your concert." And Aerosmith is like, "Oh, we can't do that to our fans." And it's supposed to be a cast member in the back who is like helping facilitate crowds and all that. It's supposed to yell out, "Hey, how about some backstage passes?" Right before Steven Tyler goes like, "Wait a second, I have an idea. What about some backstage passes?" kind of taking
Well,
credit
okay,
for
so
the
the
idea.
joke is that Steven Tyler is basically stealing the cast member's idea.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh, I could see that being like really awkward if it's not perfectly timed.
I mean, it works even just with Steven Tyler if he comes up with the idea, but the cast member
Sure,
doesn't say
sure.
anything. But yeah, it's gotta be timed right.
I actually kind of see it working better if it's just Steven Tyler, if I'm being honest with you. And you see
Yeah.
that example right there, Pi, is kind of my underlying fear when it comes to it. You know, timing on cast members would have to be down to a science with this sort of stuff. And like I said, Galaxy's Edge is going to be the litmus test.
Oh yeah. I just have no idea what the scale of that's going to be on that kind of things, and exactly how well it's going to work for long term. It's interesting to look at.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so for Disney Dad, let's see. I gave him. Sorry, shoot, I lost my place on the notes here. Here we go. Okay, creativity. I gave him. Darn it. Okay, I gave him 10 out of 10 for creativity because everything's just really solid, original, very bold in the innovator department. Detail, I gave him an 8 out of 10. Realism, I gave him a 7 out of 10 just because of the stuff we talked about with the cast members. Also, the capacity on this thing, I feel like could be a little bit better, especially with the way that you're kind of cycling and funneling guests slowly through the queue. I could see it kind of being a crowd control headache in some regards.
Yeah, I mean, it does have the same capacity of like Dinosaur Indiana Jones, but those also have a lot simpler cues.
Exactly.
It'd be
Let me
interesting to see
see.
how.
And then presentation, solid 8 out of 10. So with that, the total is 33 out of 40. And Pi, I just want to emphasize, I did not like I wasn't aiming to make it not tied. It just kind of naturally sort of beautifully came out like that. It was a happy accident.
Is this the first round where we haven't had ties?
I think so. I think it's down the line. Like we have one person with a 31, 34, 33, 32, 35. You know, it's down the line.
Wow.
Of course, the big factor with that is that Jacob isn't here to, with Jacob it's easier to tie.
Yeah. Somehow you guys always seem to be in sync with making your numbers add up. What was it with the Star Wars round? You had like 6 people with the same scores.
Oh God,
like
something ridiculous like that. Okay, so only one more round to go, and that is Pixie Princess and Rainbow Rage Rapids. Now, this is a really cool idea, Pi. I just wish that it was expanded on further. I feel like the ride through itself is a little rushed, but I love the backstory on it. I love the original character that Pixie Princess came up with. I like how the character's personality is infused throughout the ride. I like how naturally the ride ties into sea mythology. There's a lot of stuff fundamentally to like about this presentation.
I agree completely. Something about the way, just with the little details, like not like she goes way into the characters, but just with the little details she gives about them and the backstory, it's like, oh, I could see this really coming alive and being a fan favorite Disney Parks character.
And of course, I love the idea of Rainbow Peak basically being this big, this big iconic comeback for Rainbow Peak. Like, all right, now it's a fixture of Frontierland again.
Oh yeah, I mean, because project before this, I went on about how the story of Rainbow Falls was one of my favorites. I would love to see it come back in some capacity, and I've thought a River Rapids ride through Frontierland would be a great addition for a long time.
Now, Pi, I want to address one thing. Pixie Princess throws some shade into Kali River Rapids. Is it really that bad?
It's not really that bad. It's just really short. Like it feels like it's a ride that was like cut in half.
I'm assuming out of the two, Popeyes is probably better.
Popeyes is honestly the best River Rapids ride I've been on.
Ooh. You see, my personal favorite is Bigfoot Rapids at Knott's Berry Farm. but that's less to do with the theming and more to do with just like there's just so many like tight turns and fun water elements and the way that that ride weaves its way through the queue and you can see the whole layout as you're walking through the queue. Like Bigfoot Rapids is a lot of fun.
See, I haven't been to Knott's Berry, so I can't say on that one. But Popeyes is a similar kind of thing where it's
Hi, when you go to
very
California,
fast and rush.
when you go to California, I will be in California to greet you.
All right, sounds good.
I make that a promise. All right, like I need to show you around California.
Hey, I'm down for that.
All right. Well, let me know if that ever becomes a reality in your future, and we can work some stuff out.
Once I graduate, I'm hoping to go back to working at Disney, and then I'll be able to get tickets to the Disneyland in California Adventure through that, and then I just have to get a ticket to Knott's Berry, and I'm good.
Dude, I'll pay for your tickets to Knott's.
All right,
I've been
okay.
known to do that for friends. I paid for Man-Eating Wreath to go to Knott's. I paid for Sandy Claus to attend a buffet to get extra ride time on Ghost Rider. I've been known to pay for friends to go to Knott's Berry Farm with me, Pie. It's not an unknown quantity with me.
Hey, I won't say no to that. Just from the bits I've seen from like random land videos or hearing you talk about it, it looks pretty cool.
And it's such a fun park to just hang out with at friends because it's never overly crowded.
Oh yeah.
So
it looks cool.
Anyway, so let's get to Pixie Princess's scores. Let me see here. Yes, so creativity, I gave her a solid 10 out of 10 just for, you know, the real building and the character and everything. Really good.
Yeah, every part of it's really creative. I love the ideas. Even down to the drink stand where you can get the little vials infused with the rainbow water.
Let me see. Realism, 8 out of 10. Detail definitely took a hit with 6 out of 10. But presentation, I feel, you know, Pie presentation, this might be a little too high, but there's something about this, the Rainbow Ridge type, you know, just taking the effort to make it rainbow.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be silly, but for me, just the fact that she managed to put that little bit of extra effort in just really appeased my sensibilities.
There's some nice little details.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd like to see more photos in the presentations, but what she has are good references and things like that. It's solid.
All right.
Yeah, I know that pain.
What, with the bowling?
Yep.
Yeah, gotta love it, right?
This site can be weird with things like that. That's why I start when I do the Pies Disneyland, which I haven't updated in a while. I should probably work on that tonight. But I start just copying and pasting just plain text and not even worrying about trying to get it bolded and bold because I'm going to have to format it on this site anyways if I try and have it pre-formatted.
Okay, Pie, so we'll start with you in space. You get 5 points, which brings you up to 30 points. Because you were the top scorer of this project.
Sounds good.
Space came in last out of the 5, so he gets 1. Which means, Pie, you are only 1 point away from Space Mountain at this point.
Nice. That's an honor. He's one of the best Imagineers on the board.
Okay, D. Hindley gets 4 points. Which brings his total up to 27 points. Disney Dad gets 3 points. Which brings his total up to 21. And then finally, Pixie Princess gets 2 points, brings her total up to 3 points. Folks like Pixie Princess, folks like Magic Feather, even folks like T Cool and Jokers, these are the people that I feel like are going to be the people competing for wild card spots. I think Pixie Princess is kind of a front runner to get a wild card position at this point, Pie, because she's been in the game only 2 projects, but I feel like she's really made her mark.
Yeah, she's come in strong with I know you aren't as big on the Purple Wall project, but as someone who has been baffled at the appeal of that Purple Wall, I liked that one a lot, and I love the Rainbow Rage project. She's coming strong so far.
So at this point with the Elite Eight, there's going to be 6 people chosen through the standings and then 2 people chosen as wild cards. So I would say you, Space, D. Hindley, Ace Astro, Disney Dad, and KMB are probably the front runners going into it. Of course, KMB we haven't heard from in a couple projects, so there is some room for variables there. But like I said, I'd say in terms of the wild cards, that's going to be completely up to me. And I would be, I think Pixie Princess, I would just kind of like pencil her into a wild card spot, honestly, unless she just completely drops the ball next round. And other than that, it's just going to be kind of up to who submits what in the last project, folks, because of course, you know that this is the last time you can get stuff in before the Elite Eight. So I really want to see everyone out there. I really want to see the leaderboard shake up. I really want to see everyone try and get those points to see who really wants to get in there.
Yeah, it's got to be exciting.
Okay, Pi. Did you have fun with me on my podcast not being able to break the system and cheat?
You know, I would have preferred if I could have cheated, but it still was a lot of fun. I always enjoy when I get to come on these.
All right. Well, pie on my cake, I hope you enjoyed talking with me, Hipster Donald.
I did not.
Ayo, Daddy-o.
Oh, I am going to have nightmares of that voice.
I'm a character.